I do not seek children, David. Children are easy to forgive. But adults... Get out! Ah!
The clock on the wall struck 11:55 p.m. I sat facing the fireplace, swirling a glass of bourbon in my hand. The wooden cabin shuddered violently with every gust of the Colorado blizzard outside. No Christmas tree, no blinking lights. And thank God, no shrill laughter of children. I loathe Christmas. For me, it is just the perfect time to get drunk and forget the accidental shooting that took a life 3 years ago. I tossed another log into the fire. The flames roared up, illuminating the Remington shotgun I had placed right by the leg of my chair. In this godforsaken middle of nowhere, the only visitors you might get are starving wolves or grizzlies. Clang, clang. I froze. The glass of alcohol hovered in midair. That sound pierced through the howling wind. It wasn't the cheerful chiming of silver bells from supermarket carols. It was the sound of heavy, murky, rusted metal colliding. It sounded like iron chains being dragged across cold stone. Boom. The roof shook. Dust from the wooden beams drifted down onto my hair. Something incredibly heavy had just landed on the roof. Not reindeer. No animal is heavy enough to make the whole cabin sink like that. Footsteps. Slow. Heavy. The sound of iron-shod boots stomping on frozen shingles, moving straight toward the chimney. I snatched the shotgun, racking the slide, and aimed it straight at the fireplace.
Who's up there? I'll shoot!
Silence. Then, a nauseating stench flooded the living room. It was a vile cocktail of rancid meat, sulfur, and burnt peppermint. From inside the chimney, a viscous, jet-black liquid began to drip onto the glowing embers. Suddenly, the sound of bones breaking echoed out. Crack, crack. A hand reached out from the fireplace. It was freakishly large, pale gray, with long, pitch-black claws scraping against the brick floor, grinding like grit. He wasn't sliding down. He was snapping his own joints to fit through the narrow flue. A massive hunk of flesh fell onto the floor with a wet thud, sending ash billowing into the air. He slowly stood up. He had to be over 7 feet tall, his head nearly brushing the ceiling. The red suit he wore wasn't velvet or silk. Look closely and you could see it was patches of fresh, bloody skin stitched together with barbed wire. He turned around. His face was obscured by a thick beard, but it wasn't white as snow. It was gray, matted with grease, and crawling with small bugs weaving in and out of the hair. His eyes were 2 hollow pits, devoid of whites, containing only 2 glowing red embers staring straight at me. He laughed. The sound was guttural, bubbling like boiling water in a throat full of phlegm. He patted the enormous sack slung over his shoulder. The sack was soaking wet, oozing a black ichor, and more horrifying still, the sack was squirming. Low moans and the muffled sobbing of adults emanated from within.
What the hell are you?
I stumbled back, hitting the edge of the table. He didn't answer. He simply pulled a long scroll from his pocket, made of dried human skin.
David Miller, 40 years old, drunkard, killer, running from responsibility.
He licked his lips, revealing rows of jagged, yellowed, needle-sharp teeth.
I do not seek children, David. Children are easy to forgive. But adults, as your sins have soaked into your marrow, coal is not enough to punish you. You are fuel. Get out!
The buckshot tore open his chest at close range. He stumbled back a step but didn't fall. From the gaping wound, no blood flowed. Only black ash and maggots poured out like a stream. He looked down at the hole in his chest, then looked up at me, his gaze shifting from mockery to hunger.
You have been very naughty.
He lunged with impossible speed. A massive hand seized my throat, lifting me off the ground like a rag doll. The shotgun clattered uselessly to the floor. He opened the mouth of the sack. Inside, there was no darkness. I saw dozens of twisted faces pressed tight against one another, their flesh fused into a single, giant mass of raw meat. They were still alive, their eyes darting wildly in agony, unable to scream. He whispered, his rotten breath blasting into my face.
Get in! The party awaits!
He shoved my head into the mouth of the sack. The stench and stifling heat engulfed me. I felt clammy hands from the inside grabbing my shoulders, dragging me deeper into that abyss of flesh.
No!
The rope cinched tight, cutting off my scream. The outside world went black. I was crushed against the other sinners in the cramped darkness. Then, I felt the sack being hurled violently onto a vehicle. Outside, the crack of a whip, snap, and the sound of rusted bells, clang, clang, rang out once more. The sleigh shuddered into motion, launching into the stormy night sky, carrying us toward an eternal North Pole where the sun never shines.